All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Real Music Observer. It's Dave observing real music in real time for real people just like you right there and you over there. Me here. This whole Ann Wilson, Nancy Wilson situation, let me read something from Ultimate Classic Rock. This was an article that I think went up yesterday. Heart's Ann Wilson has revealed she's working on a tribute album to her fallen musical heroes, with the working title of Project Dead Guys, on which she'll honor her influences including David Bowie, Tom Petty, Chris Cornell, Leonard Cohen, I believe, is in this list. The announcement appears to suggest that there's no end in sight for the family disagreement that forced Heart onto hiatus last year. In the meantime, the latest Ann Wilson of Heart tour dates start on January 12th. We're excited to be back performing intimate shows for y'all, she said. We hope you can join us for this unique experience again this year. Ann and sister Nancy Wilson spent the closing weeks of Heart's last tour in separate dressing rooms for the first time in their career after an incident that involved Ann's husband, Dean Wetter, who was arrested for physically attacking Nancy's children when an argument got out of hand. Since the dispute, Ann began touring solo as Ann Wilson of Heart, while Nancy and several other members of the band formed Road Case Royale. Ann confirmed last year that the duo had found themselves in disagreement over the future of the band even before the fight. Nancy has a vision of playing the same old meat and potatoes set in Europe, she said. It can just go on forever. Meanwhile, Ann wanted to avoid becoming a static thing that's going to ride into obscurity. Okay, so here we have a situation where it's very clear that Ann Wilson's husband is at fault. Okay, I think I've done a couple of videos on this topic. The guy physically attacked Nancy's kids. All right, so Ann needs to do a public apology to Nancy and her children. All right, I understand this idea of keeping this within the family, but at this point, all of this bad and negative publicity is hurting the brand. Heart will eventually just fade into the sunset. Granted, Ann Wilson sounds terrific on her solo tour. I'm not really nutty about this idea of hers paying tribute to all these dead guys, as she calls them, which I don't know if that's the most respectful way to honor or title an album. And on the other end of the spectrum, Nancy formed this band that is just, I just don't like it. And I know there are a lot of people that like it. Road Case Royale. Okay, I'm not feeling it. I've listened to a few tunes on YouTube. She's got another singer. She's belting it out like a 60s or 70s soul singer. It just doesn't work for the material. You know, if I were to go see either one of them, I'd go see Ann, but under the circumstances, I don't want to give Ann any of my money. Ann needs to apologize, and you know, the end of this article talks about counseling and so forth. The husband, rather than apologize for his behavior or say things like, well, people just don't understand him. He's just kind of a, you know, he's difficult. Dean Wetter, he's just difficult to understand, and I think he was misunderstood during this assault. He was misunderstood. All right, that sounds like you're apologizing, you're excusing, you're trying to, you know, find a way around reality, which I just can't stand. Look, Heart is a great band. It's a tragedy because I'd like them to do more new music. But here's the deal. I don't want them to reinvent themselves. I don't want Heart to become Soundgarden, okay? I liked when Heart was kind of hanging out with the whole Led Zeppelin catalog and belting out a few of those. See, Heart's a classic rock band. And if you're going to pay tribute to guys from a different era, I know the Seattle connection, so I know I'll get lectured on that. Look, Heart doesn't sound like a grunge band. at all. At any time in their career, they've never sounded garage or grunge, okay? They've gone from classic rock to folky rock to mystical rock, and then they went to just mainstream 80s synthesizer-based rock during the whole Ron Nevison period. They came out of the 90s. I don't think they knew what to do, like so many other bands. They're part of my conspiracy of bands that just suddenly couldn't find their way, even though they had just come off a hugely successful era. And you may say, well, Anne's trying to reinvent herself so she can kind of carry the mantle of some of that horrible 90s music, and I'm just not there with it. I just don't like it. The bottom line on this video is Anne needs to make overtures to Nancy. Nancy, you know, could have even been like, okay, I'm never going to talk to you again. I'm never going to do anything with you again. They have rumored a bit or hinted around at possibly getting back together again. But if they do so, it can't be this weird, off-the-wall, sort of avant-garde, we're just pushing the boundaries. Look, people want to go see you perform alone, okay? They want to hear nothing at all. They want to hear Barracuda and Magic Man. These are the songs that we know and that we like. And if you're going to make anything new, make the new material kind of at least sound like something you did in the past. Keep to that template. It's a little late to try reinvention right now. Only guy I know who can do that, you know, every album is Paul McCartney. And the reason he can do it is because he's Paul McCartney. All right, so that's my video. Heart will remain on hiatus for the foreseeable future, and the future does not look bright for those two sisters. Talk to you soon.